everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks so much for joining me. Now today I'm doing the 10 cards 1 kit using the Love from Lizi 2018 card kit. It's called New Beginnings, so we're just going to jump in with card number 1. I'm taking a piece of this green cardstock that came in the kit. I just trimmed it down because I'm going to use a die that says Smile for my stash. This cuts out a smile, but it still stays attached to the bottom portion of any cardstock. So I thought that would make a great sentiment. Next, I'm going to trim down a piece of the yellow and white stripe pattern paper to a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch square. And then that's going to go on the top of my card base. For my card base today, I'm going to use that same green cardstock. I just cut it in half and then scored it down the middle to create my card base. It's a standard A2 size card base. Okay. Next, I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock and then I'm going to trim out a small panel that's 2 3/4 inches by 3 inches. And then while I had that cardstock, I thought I'd cut out a 3/4 inch strip. I'm going to be using a strip of the vellum that came with the kit, so I thought that would make a great backing. I'm going to use the 1/4 inch side of my corner chomper here and round off the corners. And then just using my tape runner, I'm going to adhere this cute little choo-choo. I fell in love with this. It was so cute. I love the bright, vivid colors of it. And just to give it a little bit of stability, I'm placing it on that white cardstock. I'm going to trim off the excess. And then I'm going to place that smile right behind it, just using my tape runner. Now, I wanted, my smile wasn't fitting, so I'm just going to trim down a 1/4 inch off of this and turn it sideways and then re-round the corners. That way my smile will fit on it better. I'm just going to adhere that to my little white square with my tape runner. Lovely. And then I'm going to remove it from there. I'm going to add some ribbon. I think the white ribbon with the silver lining would go perfect with this since there is silver accent on the vellum. I'm just going to tie a bow to the right of this little panel here. And then using some foam tape, I'm just going to pop that entire panel up. I'm going to trim off the tails real fast. Now I have my foam tape added, and then I'm just going to place that on my card base. Lovely. I think that adds a nice little dimension to the card too. Now for bells and whistles, there's these puffy little stars that came in Lizi's kit, so I thought I'd use 3 of them, and I'm going to add them right above the smile just using some glue dots. And then using my white gel pen, I'm going to do a little bit of faux stitching right below the smile and then right underneath the vellum. And then for a little bit more color towards the top, I'm going to add a few of these real pretty colored sequins. And that's it. That is card number 1. Very bright, and I had to close my blinds because the sun was coming in. Hope you can see better, but here's a close-up. Okay, now moving on to card number 2. I wanted to stamp this little guy here. He is so cute. I'm just using my Memento Tuxedo black ink, and then I'm going to color him in with my Copic markers. I had enough time to leave the coloring in for this guy, so I did leave him up in the left hand corner for you, but he was so simple and easy to color in. I just used browns for his hair, and then for his shirt I used some reds, and then for his shoes also I colored in his with reds, and then for his little breeches I went in with some greens. But there he is. I think he looks so happy. Okay, I cut him out. He was real easy to cut out. I'm going to set him aside. Now we need a background, so I thought this cut apart with the kite that has the sentiment that says "May your dreams take flight" would be real fun. I wanted to create a matte background using the mirror cardstock, so I just trimmed that out. And then I also cut out a very thin piece of the rainbow stripe paper there. using a circle die, I cut out a piece of yellow cardstock, and I'm going to place that right behind the sun on this little vellum cutout here. And then I want to cut out my sun. Now I found the best way to do this is just using a regular old hole punch. And I just go around the curved edges of the sun, and it follows it perfectly. And I think it was a quick and easy way to cut out my sun. So if you have a hole punch, I would break it out for your little sunshines. I did cut out the little clouds in that second panel. And then next what I'm going to do is take these real pretty green mirrored peel-offs and place those around my cut apart there. I popped that up and placed it on my mirror panel. And then for this card base, I'm going to use a white card base. I'm going to adhere this rainbow paper to the left side of the card. Now later on I ended up removing it. I didn't like the way it looked. So you could probably skip the pattern paper step there. I'm just going to place my panel right in the center, and then I'm just going to arrange my clouds on my little scene here. And I did pop those up with some foam tape. And then I did add the sun as well. I'm going to add my little guy towards the bottom. He is so cute. Now I did go over the little clouds with my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, clear sparkle pen, and then going over his eyes with some ebony black Nouveau crystal drops. And here's where you can see I removed that rainbow pattern paper. And I think this looks a lot better. But that's card number 2. Very cute and fun. Here's a close-up of this one. Now for card number 3. This was a really fun one. If you have any little guys in your life, I think this will be really fun. Now, I just stamped and colored in and cut out the little rocket ship that was in the stamp set. And then with the leftover silver mirror cardstock, I cut out a half circle with the largest circle die that I had. And then that little extra piece there, I'm going to take a red alcohol marker and I'm going to color it in. So this mirrored cardstock is nice and shiny, but it's red. And then just taking my scissors, I'm going to cut out little thin strips. I want the rocket ship to have a little fiery background, or a trail of little, and I thought this would look really fun. So I'm just taking my scissors and creating some little strips. And then I'm just thinning it out by just tearing off the top pieces. There we go. And then I'm going at diagonals on every other little strip of paper down there, just to give it a little bit of a fiery look. But I think I'm going to tear off one more, just so it fits behind my little rocket. And just using my tape runner, I'm going to add my little rocket flames. I think that looks so cute. And you can see I just colored in the rocket with reds and blues. And I did, when I fussy cut the rocket out, I didn't leave any white border. Now, I wanted this to be a planet. So this is actually my mat from my Mini Misty, my foam mat. I'm going to use this. And then just using my my circle dies, I'm going to take my little embossing tool here, and I'm going to create circles on the back part of that silver piece. And it's going to give me some embossing, silver circle embossings, and I think they look like little craters in my planet. So it's a nice little fun, neat effect. Next, I'm going to cut out a panel with this pattern paper that has the stars on it. This panel is 3.5 inches by 4 inches. And I'm going to add that to the gray cardstock that came in the kit. I created a panel with that as well. And then that panel is 4 inches by 5.25. I cut out a strip of it's a charcoaly, real dark specialty paper that came in the kit. And I thought this would be fun to use the little alphabet stickers to create my own sentiment. I thought if I used the words "have a blast," it would go really cute with a rocket. So I just added that. right below my little planet there. I'm going to pop this planet up with some foam tape, and I'm going to trim off the excess off my sentiment there. Now I thought it needed a little more color, so I'm taking this strip, the sticker strip, and I'm going to add that right below the planet, or my sentiment there. I'm going to put that back. We could probably use a little bit more of that later on. But I think that looks so fun. Now I'm going to add my planet with some foam tape there. I think this would be a perfect card for a little guy in your life. Now I'm going to add a few of the little stars, and then I'm going to go in with the tangerine Nouveau jewel drops and put those on the windows of the rocket ship. And I think that's a nice fun little accent. And I did put one little star next to the sentiment. Now I added fun foam on my card base, which is a white card base, and then I'm going to place my panel on top. I should have did this before I added the jewel drops, but no worries, it worked out just fine. But that's it for that card. Very fun. Here's a close-up. Okay, we're going to move on to card number 4. I wanted to use these wood letter veneers here. So what I'm going to do is take my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, and I'm going to put glue on the right side of them. And then I'm going to place them upside down on the rainbow pattern paper, and then I'm going to set that aside to let dry. And then while that's drying, we'll work on our panel. I'm going to cut out a panel with a window using a stitch rectangle die and then also a square die. The window panel is 2 3/4 inch by 2 3/4 inch, and then the outside panel is 3.5 inches by 4 3/4. And then I wanted to use the specialty cardstock, so I cut out a panel with that as well and just popped up my alphabet panel right in the center of that. Now this looked just about dry, so I'm just using my scissors and trimming around it. And then what I have is some files. This works really good for shaving down like the excess paper off of any kind of wood project you have, so that's what I did with that. Just filed it off and made those edges smooth. I cut out another strip using that rainbow pattern paper, and then I did add some of Lizi's green mirrored peel-offs to the top and bottom there, and then just using my tape runner, I'm going to adhere that strip in the center of the bottom part there. And I did use my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive to adhere the high down. Now to give this a little bit of something, I needed, I went in with the tangerine Nouveau jewel drops over the oranges on the rainbow pattern paper. And then in my stash, I have some key lime jewel drops. I went over the greens with that, just to give it a little shine. And then finishing touches, I went over it with my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, and then also went around the inside of the window with my white gel pen with some faux stitching. And that's it for that one. Okay, now we're going to move on to card number 5. I'm going to use this. It's a square cutout that came in the kit. I'm going to cut it right in half. And then I'm going to take the little apple pattern paper, and then I'm going to cut out a strip that is 2 1/4 inch by 4 1/4. I'm just going to place this directly in the center of my card base. I'm going to use a white card base for this one. Okay. I'm going to trim off the excess here. Now I'm going to take these 2 pieces that I had cut in half, and just to extend them a little bit, I'm going to add some, excuse me, I'm going to add some foam tape right behind them and pop those up for a little bit of dimension. Now in the stickers, there is a sticker that says, "You're the apple of my eye." I thought that'd be cute right in the middle. So I'm just going to pop up the sticker with some foam tape and place that right in the center. I thought about putting it there and then changed my mind. I think the center looks a lot better. Now for little bells and whistles, I'm going to add a few of the gray sequins that came in the little sequin mix. And then I'm going to go in with some glossy accents over the apples. Very simple card, but turned out really cute. So that's that card. Now we're going to move along to card number 6. We're going to make a happy birthday card for this one. So I'm using the blue die that came in the kit. I'm going to cut out 4 balloons with the colored cardstock that came in the kit, and then also with the charcoal shimmer paper that came in the kit. I cut out 4 of those too. Now I'm going to cut off the tails of the colored balloons, and I'm going to adhere them, the top parts, to the charcoal balloons. That way my balloons have some charcoal gray strings. And I just used my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive for that. Now next, I cut out a square frame here. We're going to make a shaker. So I did add acetate to it, and then I added foam tape. Now the foam tape that I'm using is not that wide, but I kind of like it that way because it only shakes a little bit, and this way my sequins will stay towards the top too. So there's my little shaker element. Now we need a sentiment. So in my stash, I have a happy die. Well, I guess I added a gray, using the gray cardstock in the kit. I cut out a panel slightly larger than my little shaker element, and I placed it on there. But this is a happy die, and just to save me some time, I'm going to use some black fun foam to cut that out. And then once I have that done, I'm going to remove the backing and place that on my panel. Now in my stash also, I have a sentiment that says birthday to you. So my sentiment will say happy birthday to you. So I just added that with some foam tape right below. I'm going to add my balloons. And I did cut off one of the tails of the balloons, and just to make it look like it was flowing all the way down, I kind of separated it and squeezed it right in between the happy. I placed it on a white card base, A2 size card base, and that's my happy birthday card. When I added the balloons too, I did put the fun foam behind it so you could see the white of the fun foam. Okay, now next for card number 7, this is a super duper easy card. But I created a real thick frame using white cardstock, and then using the yellow cardstock I'm going to create a thinner frame that will fit inside the thicker frame. Now next I popped both of those up with some foam tape, and I wanted to use the vellum piece that says you are loved, so I'm just going to place my thicker white frame over that vellum and then trim off any excess right behind it. There we go. For this card, I'm going to use a white card base. So I'm just going to use my tape runner and adhere my little oval right in the center of my card base. I thought about using the string of pom-poms on this, but I thought it just looks so pretty just simple. So I'm just going to add the smaller frame right over in the center of the larger frame. And I think that looks really pretty. Simple, but very pretty. Using the tangerine jewel drops, I'm going to fill in those hearts in the center of the flowers. And that's it for that card. Very, very cheery. Here's a close-up of what this one looks like too. Okay, now we're going to move on to card number 8. I'm going to take the sentiment that says let your dreams set sail, and I cut out a panel. It's a 3x4 panel, and I'm going to stamp it at the top, which I didn't do very good, so I'm going to just flip it around and stamp it again. And I think second time worked great. Okay, now next I have this blue pattern paper. I want to create like an ocean background, so that I'm going to cut out the same size panel as I did for my sentiment, And then once I have that done, in my stash, I have some Lawn Fawn Ocean Wave accents. These create little itty bitty ocean waves. So I'm going to use my die cut machine and cut out 2 little panels for those. I'm going to layer them together like that towards the bottom. Now we need a sailboat. I think the sailboat that's in the stamp set is so cute. So I just colored it in with my Copic markers here. I actually stamped it once on top of my panel, kind of because I really wanted the steam to show. I thought the little swirly steams were so cute. And then I also stamped it 2 times on the white cardstock. I wanted my sailboat to be kind of 3D, so I'm going to use the boat part of one of them, and then I'll cut out the whole boat with the second one. Okay. My boat's going to be reds and yellows. And here's where I take my scissors and just cut out the boat part of this one. And then I cut out the full-size boat on the other one. Now just using some foam tape, I am going to adhere it to the boat, the smaller boat part, and then I am going to add it to the full-size boat. And then I'm just going to place that on my little scene. I did pop up the boat with foam tape also. Now I'm adding foam tape behind the second layer of the waves here. And I'm going to place that on my panel. I'm cleaning up my little messies. Okay, that's going to look great right there. So cute. Now I need to cover up the bottom mess here. So I'm going to use some of that blue border sticker here, and I place that on the bottom, just trimming off the excess. And I really like the little scallop down there on the bottom that has the stars, so I'm going to place that in the bottom too. I did have to trim down my paper a little bit, but I think the outcome turned out really pretty. I added a bow using the leftover white ribbon, just tying it to the left of my panel here. And then I'm just going to pop this entire panel up with some foam tape. I'm just going to remove the backing and add that to the center of, this is the blue cardstock that came in the kit that I created my card base with. And then now for bells and whistles, I wanted to add a few of the little stars towards the top part of the sentiment, and then towards the bow area. And then I did go in with a little bit of shimmer to make those waves shine. I also filled in the little portholes on the boat with the gray gems that came in Lizi's kit. And that's it. Here's a close-up. Now for card number 9, another quick and easy card. I really like this little mouse, so I decided to take this pattern paper here, cut out a strip of the polka dots, and then I'm going to cut out this little mouse here with the sunglasses. I think he is so cute. Now once I have him all trimmed out, I am going to take the polka dot pattern paper and adhere it to, this is a scrap piece of pattern paper that I had left over, so I'm just going to use it up. I'm going to adhere it to the center just using my tape runner. And then I'm going to grab some of the peel-offs and go along the border of the polka dot there. And then also I'm going to go around the edges of my little mouse cut out here. It's going to give it a lot of shimmer and shine. Okay. Now, I cut out a panel using the green cardstock that came in the kit. This panel is 3.5 inches by 4 3/4. And I'm just going to use the vanilla card base for this card. And I'm just using my tape runner and adhering my panel directly in the center of my card base. I'm going to add this strip of paper. I'm going to trim it down first, but I am going to add foam tape and pop it up and place that to the left of the my card base there. Now, for my little mouse, I wanted to add a little shimmer to him, and I actually really liked the sunglasses in the vellum cutout, and it was the same size mouse, so I'm just cutting out the head of the mouse. The sunglasses were a little bit too small, so I thought I'll just cut out the whole entire head. And just using my tape runner, I'm going to replace his head. Okay, so now we have some shimmery sunglasses. Now I'm going to stamp the sentiment. The sentiment for this card says Dream Big Little One. It was from Lizi stamp set. And I stamped it on a panel that's 2.5 inches by 3 1/4. I'm going to place my little mouse. I popped him up and placed him on that panel. And then I'm going to add some foam tape behind here and add this to my card base. For a little shimmer, I added 2 of the little star gems next to the sentiment, and that's it. That's it for card number 9. Very cute and easy. Okay, now we're going to move along to card number 10. I really wanted to use the crayons. They were just so fun, and so I fussy cut out 1 layer of the crayons, and then I wanted to use this is the pale gray shimmer paper that came in the kit. I'm just using a little bit of my tape runner to adhere it to the shimmer paper, and then I have a stitched rectangle die. The die that I'm using is at 3 by 4 1/4, so I cut out my panel here. Actually, it's not 3 by 4 1/4. It's actually 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. Now in my stash I have a sentiment, and this sentiment says Color Your World, and I thought it was just so cute. So I'm just coloring in the word color with my Copic markers, and I'm trying to use colors that coordinated with the crayons in that back panel there. I did it on a piece of white cardstock, and then I have a circle die that fit it perfect. I'm just going to cut out my little circle, and I adhered that to my shimmer paper there. I popped up my crayons and placed it right below, and then I'm going to flip this over and add some foam tape behind here. Add that to my white card base, and that's it for that card. Very simple, but so cute. I love the sentiment. And that's card number 10. Now, here's a quick look at all 10 cards that I made using Lizi's kit. I hope this inspires you and gives you some ideas on how to use Lizi's kit. I know it was a child-themed kit, so I kind of wanted to do a universal. There's so many elements that came in Lizi's kit that it's not just for children, so I hope I showed you some different ideas. But I wish you a fantastic day, and I'll leave links below to where you can grab a subscription to Lizi's kits or check it out. We will see you again real soon. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.